Hi, hello. One thing that I feel like we don't talk enough about is the fact that whenever you assert yourself or you make a quite pivotal decision, life will test you. Initially, when you make a decision like that, like no matter what it is, for example, in my case, a couple months ago, actually almost like 6 months ago, I made the decision to leave my corporate job and be full-time self-employed, right? So that I have more freedom and that I could also use that extra freedom to then focus on being creative, like, focusing on my passions, doing like this. I really wanted to see how else I can express myself. And initially, that situation, I really felt like I was in a pressure cooker, right? Because that kind of pressure to leave had been building up for a very long time at that point. So when I made the decision and I handed in my, I don't know, 4 weeks notice, I don't remember what it was, but when I quit, essentially, the initial relief was incredible. It was so nice. I felt just like a gigantic weight off my shoulders. And I can go more in depth about that like in another video, like how I made that switch, because obviously that comes with its own challenges. And I will like pick on these things like a little bit in this video, but not full on because I feel like it's just a different topic. But anyways, after that initial relief, I started feeling all kinds of anxieties, right? Because in my case, like that meant that my monthly salary would vary, right? Like, because when you have a corporate job, like a normal 9 to 5 thing, usually you have the same salary every single month, right? And this was gonna look very, very different. And all of a sudden I got very scared. And I'm a person, like, I need that type of security. So I felt like, oh my God, what happens if I don't make enough money all of a sudden? Like, what happens if like my clients that I already have jump off and then I'll have to look for new ones and maybe no one will take me. Everyone's talking about how crazy the job market is. So like all kinds of like very scary thoughts started piling up. And you know what almost happened? Even though I knew in my heart I needed to have that space. I needed to have that space to like give my mind and like my soul and like I just needed the time to breathe. I just needed the time to reorganize myself, to figure out like what it is that I want to do, to just kind of listen more. I felt like I just didn't have the time to listen to myself anymore because it was all about just like literally waking up, working, and then sometimes, and that's what I meant when I said that it was kind of like a pressure cooker, even after like the work was done for the day, I would still worry about work after the day was over. So essentially, like even when I wasn't actively working, my mind was constantly occupied with work to the point where I felt like I just didn't have any sort of room left to tune into myself. So I knew that that was where I needed to be. I knew that I needed space, right? Like first and foremost, I needed the space. But the space scared me. The space scared me because I was like, what happens now? Like that space is something that I'm not used to anymore. Like I'm so used to filling my time with like being productive and worrying about the next thing that I have to do for work. So even though I knew that I needed that, my body started kind of revolting. Like I felt so anxious and I actually ended up looking for new jobs, like new 9 to 5s. Even though I knew I needed to be self-employed, I needed it, the anxiety took over and I started looking for other corporate jobs, like back to the 9 to 5. But then something clicked in me. Something clicked and I was like, I should expect this. I should expect this to happen because I know exactly where I am. I know it. Like throughout the whole process, throughout the whole anxiety, I knew I needed space. I knew I needed space. But I should expect that if I'm not used to that space, I will feel anxious. I will try to look for ways to go back to like a similar routine because that's what I'm used to. Like we're always afraid of the unknown. We're always afraid of like what we're not used to. So this comes actually as something that should be expected. But even though maybe in some sort of way, maybe sometimes your mind expects it, you cannot underestimate how your body will react. So I started looking for new 9 to 5s until I caught myself and I was like, girl, relax. Relax. This is meant to happen. You wanted to assert yourself in this type of way. You are basically telling life, this is not the life that I want. I want a different life. I want a different sort of routine, right? But then you can't assert that. Like you can't kind of demand that and make a stance for it and then go after that because you know what it takes. You know what it takes and it's happening right now. And here I am like putting roadblocks back in my way, even though also mind you, everything was okay. Like actually like on a very like practical level, everything was okay. Like I didn't need to be that anxious, but it was different. Like I like technically on paper it was less secure what I was doing than what I was doing before. But that was the point. That was kind of like there's just the price that I had to pay. I really felt like this is what always happens when you make such a pivotal change in life. Like initially you might feel liberated. You might feel like finally, because chances are if it is such a pivotal change that you're making, that it's something that's been building up for a long time. So like once you step into that, it's gonna feel like, finally, oh my god, finally I did that. Now I can finally be this. Now I can finally do that. But then the anxieties come and the anxieties follow. And basically this is life testing you. This is life literally giving you a stage to step on it and assert yourself. It's not enough to just set the intention. It's not enough to just take one step. That's where it starts. But it's not enough. Like you have to embody it. And embodying it means like fully like embodying the change, fully embodying even the anxieties that come with it. And it's really something that we should expect. And I think it's so important to mention that because there were times where I was so close to going back to the old routine just because of my fear. Like you need to constantly kind of remind yourself why it is that you're doing what you're doing. Because if it wasn't for that, if I wasn't so like trying constantly to be so in tune with myself, it would have been so much harder. But I knew exactly what I was doing. But the knowing of it sometimes doesn't stop, as I said, the other reactions that follow. But it helps to override those emotions. It helps you to stay on course, and it kind of helps you to not give all the power to only those emotions. And emotions are important. Like I always say this, like emotions inform you of something, right? They don't just pop up out of nowhere. But for me, it just informed me that we're stepping into something new. That was it. And just because it's new and it's natural for something new to make me feel anxious doesn't mean that it's the wrong choice. Doesn't mean that I have to go back. Quite the opposite. It means that I'm really stepping into a new form. This is actually a sign that I'm really doing something entirely different. And isn't that what I want? More than ever now, I feel like we're very much like a quick, we know this, like we're very much like after quick gratification, like instant gratification. We don't want any discomfort. Everything about the way we live, like every trend that's happening, whether it's like, I wanted to make a separate video about this actually as well, but whether it's like looks maxing or like whatever it is, everything is about not dealing with what's going on within ourselves. Everything is about not really looking for the bigger picture and really being in tune with your own purpose and with your own direction. But it's very much about like, I don't feel good about this. I need to fix this feeling instantly. And that combination between like the quick fix of discomfort and the need for like instant gratification will almost always lead you down the road of just quickly fixing the uncomfortable feeling. In my case, that would have been going back to my old job or like looking for a similar job, going back to the same routine or a similar routine. That would have been the quickest fix. Or actually, maybe actually that would have even kept me in that job because I would have been like, I would have felt like, because you know when you envision doing something, you already kind of feel what it's going to be like. And sometimes that can even stop you from even taking any step towards like a change in your life that's very necessary. Discomfort is so necessary if you're trying to step into like a new version of yourself. And not only is it necessary, but I think of it literally, as I said earlier, is like it's life's test for you, not to punish you, but it's literally giving you a stage. Like think of it as like you're practicing in your head what it's going to look like if you're going to be that version of you and you want to step into this new purpose of yourself, or actually this purpose that you've had your whole life but you were just afraid of stepping into. And like, you know, you envision all of these things and then life is like, okay, amazing, I'll support you. Like this is your time to shine, like step on the stage. And essentially you let your stage fright take over and you don't even step on stage. You don't want to do that. You want to step on your stage. That stage was built for you, you know? So even if you feel uncomfortable, even if you encounter situations that really make you feel like, oh my god, was this the right choice? Think back to like what your initial kind of calling was for doing that in the first place. That calling is more important than temporary discomfort, than temporary confusion. You can get through it. You have to sit with your emotions actually. Like you have to sit with them and just think about why it is that they're there. But then a lot of times you will notice that it's literally just fear of the unknown. It's literally just fear of the unknown. And fear of the unknown is something that you should welcome if you're trying to embody something new. So whenever you find yourself like in a situation like that, where you've made like a change for yourself and you feel like, damn, so this is like kind of a moment where I have to assert that stance again. Look at it just like that. Look at it as like, this is a chance for you to solidify your standing in life. That's all it is. It's a chance for you to further solidify whatever version it is that you're trying to embody. So anyways, I just wanted to talk about this for a little bit because I feel like it can be very tricky to navigate big changes in like a time like this where, as I said, it's like very much about instant gratification and the delaying or like the avoidance of any discomfort. And that can really just keep you really, really trapped and make you like not ever fulfill any of your potential, when really discomfort is really a chance to step into something new. You know why you're doing what you're doing. You know when you have a calling, and you know that sometimes there's a price to pay, and that's okay. So if you've recently have been going through like a big change, or if you're planning to, feel free to let me know in the comments. Like, I would love to know like what it is that's on your mind, or you know, if you have any advice when it comes to these types of situations. I'm always curious and I love to read all the comments. But anyways, take very, very good care of yourself, and I will talk to you very, very soon. Bye.